Alright, so hey guys, me again, you know who I am, and today I'm going to talk about gas damage and like why it's so ridiculous actually. So, thing is, if you look on the wiki, or if you don't know already, the gas damage is only good against light infested, however the gas proc itself does toxin damage, and the infested are strong against all toxin damage. So that basically makes it look like gas damage contradicts itself in basically every single way possible. And that's why I'd recommend you use corrosive damage against the infested instead of gas damage. And that's why I even use that in my secure lector video. However, if you combine gas damage with like a stealth frame or the Narmon focus school, gas damage is actually really strong. And the thing is, you can gas damage is stackable, just like slash damage, which is why gas damage is probably best on a weapon with physical damage, like the Legion here. And Legion's buff also adds like toxin damage, which is also really nice because the damage over time scales with the total amount of toxin damage you have on your weapon, which is nice. So gas is kind of like a better version of toxin that spreads within like a 5-meter radius, and it sort of kinda scales with the weapon, but this only kinda. And I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm just gonna show you. So I'm gonna turn on Naramon, and we're gonna spawn in 20 heavy gunners at level 140. And I'm using a Warcry build on my Valkyr, so my attack speed's faster. And then, alright, so there's our stealth, the stack up gas, and then it just tears them apart. Oh, shit. And I kind of goofed up because I wanted to show you the multipliers, just the raw damage. But you can just basically tear every single enemy you face to pieces with this, and I don't understand why this is this strong. Because, for instance, I just destroyed them. Now, if I wasn't fooling around, I would have got away with like full health, but let's just put like corrosive damage on this. Now, corrosive damage strips armor away, and that's very good for guns. However, guns cannot get the stealth damage multiplier that melee weapons can, and I don't understand why. Well, and this is kind of interesting. So if I just throw in corrosive here and try to do the same thing. And then we just go ham. And then the slash damage is what's doing the damage over time here. But that's not nearly as fast as, say, the gas. I mean, sure, stealth multipliers are great when they combined with slash. Yeah, lots of corrosive damage. And plus the slash damage. Now, since the Legion has a very high status chance, then that's most likely the reason why slash is proccing all the time. So let's just take a weapon that just doesn't have any physical damage. So let's throw on corrosive damage here. It's about this same build I used in my secure lector video about the credit farm and whatnot. Corrosive. That did what, 1,000 damage? 5,000, 12,000, and then yeah. So eventually, corrosive becomes high damaging, but it doesn't like start off stacking. There's no damage over time. Because I'm getting very lucky with my corrosive procs here. And it just procced on every single hit. But yeah, quite interesting. Doesn't do that crazy damage over time. And I want to see... I wish we didn't have a cap on the level of enemies, or the enemy's level, so I can just see how far gas damage will scale, basically. I want to see, like, how far, like, that the gas slash, will go. And, I don't even have a catalyst on this Legion. It just did, like, and my Secure Electa did have a catalyst on it. Sure, that's definitely, like, it's faster than normal with the stealth multipliers, but it's not nearly as fast. And I really would really like to see how far gas damage scales. Now I'm also going to show you this with the Zenistar. And we're going to run the same scenario. So gas damage on the first test here. And let's pick up some energy. Let's become a Super Saiyan. Throw a disc. Oh. If I could not get knocked down here. And let's fuck off. Then once stealth multipliers kick in, like that's doing 73 damage, and then it's just stacking over and over and over and over again. Because gas is stackable. Is a stackable damage type, and that stacks over time, increasing its damage. Okay, these guys are not coming over to the right spot, so I'm gonna drag them over here. Alright. But as you can see, yeah, that's just demolishing their health bar. Despite that them being extremely heavily armored. And my Zenistar is done. But yeah, you get the idea. Now we're going to put on corrosive damage. Or corrosive heat. Because reasons. Or corrosive blast, I guess. Hold on. Yeah, corrosive blast will be fine just for the sake of this test. And we're going to do the same test. I'll become a Super Saiyan. I throw the disc. And I fuck off. And as you can see, this damage slowly ramps up. It's removing their armor at a decent rate. But it eventually starts to out DPS gas, but not. It doesn't. The ramp up isn't nearly as quick as say gas. Like it'll get there, but yeah. You can see the damage numbers are just increasing and increasing because of the less and less armor they have. Might have been better to go with corrosive heat, so the heat damage would do damage to flesh. But for this example, this is fine. And my disc has run out. And now fuck off. And it just slowly starts to just do a lot of damage. However, I won't lie. The corrosive procs are very good for, like, say if you're using going to go like guns blazing and not worrying about stealth multipliers or whatever. Like, sure, corrosive damage is totally fine, is good on guns because they cannot get the stealth damage multiplier that melee weapons can. And so, but if you're going to use like stealth or the Naramon focus school, then gas is probably going to be your best bet there. Other than that, corrosive is definitely going to whittle down the EHP of the enemies very, very quickly. And especially, you know how problematic armor is already. And stuff like that. So, on paper, gas does not make any sense. But in actual practice, it's pretty good, I'd say. Like I said, I really wish we didn't have a cap to the enemies. And I wish we, this way I still, I would love to see how far gas can scale before it just completely falls off. But yeah. And like I say, you don't need specific weapons to do this. You can even do this like the Atarax, and you don't even need an arm on. You can totally just use like a smoke screen or invisibility power that can do this. That can get you your melee stealth multipliers. But yeah. And then if I just throw gas on my Atarax. Atarax is a master rank 2 weapon, so if you got new players want to try and give this a shot, then yeah, I'd highly recommend you pick up the Atarax. And like a stealth frame or do the second dream and like, you know, grab your focus school, but yeah. Let's swap out to smokescreen Ash. Now what I was originally like testing is with the Secure Lecta and Ash and see if I could just, I was just seeing if I could just, what I was planning to do was add bleed procs with Blade Storm. Because it can't bleed, but like that's not as effective as just using like say the Atarax or the Legion. Because this is far more efficient. Not even using Maiming Strike on this build. Although and then it just tears them apart. That's the bleed proc doing a lot of damage. And if we stack that up with gas, and it's doing upwards of 40,000 damage per second. And then okay, that's gonna ruin my stealth multipliers a bit there. But yeah. Interesting thing to note. I will be testing this in the Index tomorrow on live stream. I will be testing this, and we're going to go for about an hour in the Index so we can get John Prodman to spawn in. I'm going to see how many autographs I can get tomorrow on stream. I'm going to be testing gas against those guys and see how well I do. But, yeah. That's gas for you. It really doesn't make sense on paper, and even when I've read the wiki over and over and over again, and it just still doesn't make any sense to me why this does this much damage, but it's nice. Like, really nice. And I think D was trying to reward like this like a cloak and dagger sort of like gameplay, so that way if you're using like a stealth frame and like be like a rogue with like poison and stuff like that, I think that's what they were going for, because like poison toxin stacks and gas stacks more. Well, it does more damage. Like even though it does proc poison clouds do proc toxin, they do more damage than the actual toxin proc itself, because the toxin normal toxin proc will just equate to 50% of your damage over like what 6-8 seconds, and the gas proc will do about 125% of your weapon's damage over the course of 8 seconds, or equal to the amount of the toxin damage you have on that said weapon. So yeah, that's a weird comparison. Like, you can do this with a whole variety of weapons, so you don't really even have to worry about what weapon you do this with. In fact, you can do this with the machete. So yeah, machete is like the worst melee weapon in the game by far, but it can totally do this, and it makes it actually fine. So and then we just proc slash and gas. Oh, there's a gas cloud. Oh, that was a ground finisher. I didn't mean to do that because I forgot there's a multiplier for that. And the attack speed is very slow on this, but as you can see, tearing these guys up. And it certainly wouldn't hurt to throw on like something, if you're using like a weapon that has physical damage, certainly wouldn't hurt to have like a something like Shattering Impact on there. That way you're lowering the enemy's armor every time you hit them. And then that way you can you can just basically increase your said damage over time, even though by a lot, because you're lowering the enemy's armor and not having to worry about elements. And we have yet to have an innate gas damage weapon, so that would be interesting. I don't know what's so satisfying about just doing this insane damage over time that doesn't make any sense at all, but it's just so satisfying. Uh-oh. Now, notably, this is a lot better on the Gazelle Machete because the Gazelle Machete has a status chance of 25 instead of fucking 10 like this weapon has. But it absolutely just demolishes these guys. Uh-oh. We do the same thing with Corrosive. Oh, I think I left an enemy standing there. Corrosive, yeah. And disappear. They will all run to that, or look at that center point at least. Yeah. Like, it's still doing damage, but the slash proc is doing most of the work here. Because Corrosive doesn't do damage over time at all. It just lowers the armor and increases my initial damage. Although it's certainly decent against these guys when it comes to high level, but it just doesn't add to, like, slash or whatever. Since slash damage is just like straight finisher damage. I really don't even really need the gas all that much, but it certainly eats through enemies if you throw gas on there, because the damage will just spread around, and you won't have to go from enemy to enemy to enemy doing that. But yeah, so if you're using a stealth frame or if you use a Narmon, that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, kind of interesting how gas works. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.